flirt with that particular crowd because that's where their money is coming from.
Sure.
Because the industry has like kind of blacklisted most of them,
Uh-huh.
right? But they don't, for some reason, they feel that it's untoward or, some kind of insult to be called the people that they court.
Yeah.
So their constant, it's like what's the Giuliani's "The Truth Isn't the Truth." Their constant stance is, well, we're not doing that. We're not like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but your followers are, and you're
Yeah.
not denouncing any of
Yeah.
it. And and also, anybody that you seem to denigrate in the industry, they seem to get harassed a lot.
Yeah.
So what's going on, guys? If you're not with these guys, then just then denounce it and move on.
Right.
But they can't because they're getting $500,000 per crowd fund.
Right.
For their they really are rocking a hard place right there.
Right. So what I was using the analogy before was that it feels like these are little kids fighting, and this is on both sides in a sense. I'm not. Let me put my stake in the ground.
You gotta
and
these days.
Say I'm not denouncing both sides. This is not the Charlottesville rally here, where Trump
you're
is like
not. It's not a false equivalence.
I'm not saying that, but I am saying that it elevates to a point where there's just a lot of bickering, like your kids, like your cousins, like your brothers and sisters, like your kindergarten class, whatever it is. And then Joe Quesada comes on, and he's like your teacher or your mom or your dad, and you're like, just play nice, guys. Like just play nice. Like, this is silly.
Not only that, but we're kind of funny on this because we were on opposite sides when we first started talking about this almost like a year ago.
Yes.
And then we kind of switched sides a little bit.
And now I'm voting for like.
Yeah. For you were kind of like, well, we don't know what's wrong with them, and then you were like, no, I know what's wrong with them, and I was like, well, we don't really know what's wrong with them, but after the Joe Quesada thing this weekend. And I looked at the reaction of most of the ComicsGaters to the Joe Quesada thing. I was like, okay, no. I know what side I'm on.
Yeah.
Because I've never read something more tempered and respectful and even-handed than Joe's reaction.
Yeah, no, he was very cordial. He even, like, look, whether you want to call it sarcastic or not, he was talking with Ethan Van Sciver. Mm-hmm. Full disclosure, Ethan Van Sciver and I are friends. I like that guy. I do. Okay, I don't like the online persona that he's become. But if you've ever
Uncle
had
Ethan.
but if you've actually ever sat at a convention, this guy, his quote is on the Sire #1. To give an Ethan Van Sciver story, I was courting a lot of good quotes from industry professionals when the Sire first came out, and I would. A common practice in business is these guys are way too busy to send you a quote. Just give them something and ask them if it's okay if you put their name to it. And I wrote something like, the Sire is a very good thing, or like something like, like I'm really impressed with
I like turtles.
Right. It's like something like that.
Ethan Van Sciver.
And he wrote me back. He's like, use this. Truly inspired. The Sire is everything. I can't even remember the quote now, but it was like this paragraph long thing. And I was like, well, this is A, way better than I wrote, and B, way better than I expected. Right. So when it comes to him, I look, there's a little bit of a...
Listen, I've been watching Comics Pro and on YouTube, and I know industry people who know him. I've never met him personally, or I might not have met him personally. I don't know. I've been around for a long time, so I might have run across him, but we've never actually... to the point where he wouldn't know who I was if I fell on him, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so he seems like a good guy. He seems like he's got a sense of humor and everything that I would laugh at. The problem is, like, if he's not like what they're saying he is, he's definitely pushing it. Right. Okay? And he literally in his coverage of the Joe Quesada tweet, he said he was being harassed by Joe Quesada. Right. I know, and that's my issue. That's not possible. Like, you could, first of all, it's one tweet. It's a long one. It's a long extended tweet.
But this is actually, this makes up exactly what we're living. We're living in a message board. We're living in a giant message board now. Mm-hmm. Like, if you realize this, right? Like, message boards used to be confined to, just this small group of people, and they just hate on each other. But then if you actually got them in a room together, Like,
well, that's what I've seen. I've seen them interview each other and talk to each other. I've literally seen Ethan Van Sciver interview industry giants like who are on the other side, who are so-called SJWs,
sure,
and who are like like Mark Waid or something. Like I've seen him do it.
Imagine getting them in a room together now.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I've seen, and then I've seen the interview, and the interview seems to go really well, and they have these long conversations about blah blah blah, right? Yeah. And then he does a follow-up to the interview where he's now talking to the message board, like he's talking to the hive mind, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, this SJW doesn't really get it, and I'm like, well, it's not the conversation you just had. Like it's two different people.
Yeah.
So it's literally like, okay, let's compromise. Maybe you guys aren't sexist and racist, but all your friends are sexist and racist.
Well, Quesada actually, Quesada, I didn't, if you look on the screen right now, I actually pulled some of Quesada's tweets. They're very, again, just very even-keeled, very rational tweets, responding to things.
And I can understand if you were on the other side, you'd be like, he didn't need to weigh in. We don't need to hear from him, blah, blah, blah.
No, but we did. I think we did.
I know, I'm just saying, I can understand the other side saying he didn't need to weigh in. But to call it harassment.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Say he was also virtue signaling. It's all these like.
Here's the one issue I had.
All
with
these
him.
meta political terms that kind of signal a side that we're on. The tribalism of whatever.
Here's There's two things that I take from this. One is that because of the state of the message board internet, which is what I'm going to call it from now on, the message board internet. Everyone is the message boards that people used to frequent. Like I was on a Buffy message board years ago,
hundreds of years ago,
are now
and they were all nasty even back then
as phones. So the world is now exposed to.
Well, someone
boards.
Described Twitter as world tweeting. I mean, a world texting the world.
Yeah. So that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what all
this is why I don't do it.
But that's what Facebook is. That's what all this stuff is. Like all this stuff existed. Like it's funny when we always joke about like the 90s have come back. They have actually. But just on a larger scale.
Yeah, except for the music.
So on the one side, yeah. Well, no, if you're an EDM fan, it's huge.
No,
like it's your grunge. Like if you're an EDM fan, this is your grunge. This is people doing groundbreaking stuff.
No, it's not.
We just don't like EDM.
No, because it's not good.
It's a big difference.
Because it's not good. I've listened to it.
But here's the thing, though.
And I've been like, what the heck?
thing that I don't like about Quesada weighing in, but I don't like about all this stuff when all is said and done, and this is going to be. It's going to be akin to your baby eating or baby killing analogy from last week. I equate what this has become to a school shooting.
Well, wait a minute.
And I'm going to tell you why.
How is that any better?
Because the school shooting, part of the psychosis that goes into a school shooting is I'm going to do the most heinous and worst thing possible so that I become famous, so that I become, and that was the original mentality. Now, obviously, it's changed. I mean, it's gotten worse to an extent in terms of that, but not in terms of the fame. In fact, the fame has now gone down. And if you look at ComicsGate now too, it feels like it's okay. This is kind of we're just
getting old.
We're desensitized to it. But at the end of the day, you have Ethan Van Sciver, who's already an industry professional, but you have people like Richard Meyer, who started this whole thing, conversing with the editor-in-chief of Marvel. It's like he became...
He punched down.
Yeah, he did such a thing that he's now able to talk to the people that he couldn't talk to. That doesn't mean he's going to get jobs at Marvel. Obviously not. It doesn't mean he's going to be...
So it's an admirable thing?
No. I'm not saying it's an admirable thing. I'm saying that the school shooters, when it first started, the phenomenon of it was to do something so out. I don't want to. I mean, obviously, heinous is a word, but that's not the word. But it's outrageous.
The baby killer thing was better.
No, but it escalates to such a point, though, that now they've actually achieved the goal that they were trying to achieve. Do you know what I mean? Like. And they did it in the worst possible way, and that's my analogy.
No, that's giving them a lot of credit. I don't think they. I think what they achieved was because I think they would have indeed achieved it if Joe Quesada had tweeted what he tweeted, and then they switched their tone, and they came back and they started talking to Joe like, "Oh, yeah, Joe, we didn't, it's not like that. Let's discuss this." That would have accomplished their goal because they would open up a dialogue with him that they normally wouldn't have had.
Sure.
But since they were painted into a corner because they're subversive against this particular.
Also, their ringleader is a legitimate comic professional. If you think about it, not Richard Meyer, but Ethan Van Sciver. I mean, he's been on Green Lantern. He's been on all this stuff.
Yeah, but if they could have just changed their track, they would have won. But see, now to a lot of people who thought it was, a lot of people who are approaching it from a reasonable perspective,
sure,
and they read Joe's tweet and then they read people's reaction to that as harassment.
Yes,
that was the mistake they made because they doubled down instead of shifting.
Right.
And so, that convinced me. I'm like, look, I don't know what you guys are, but you guys are not on the level.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I don't know what I'm not going to accuse you of being any particular thing or any anti or a positive or pro anything.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't on a level. You're not approaching this on the level.
And here's one more thing about ComicsGate that I think needs to be addressed, which we will address when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Did you know you've been playing poker your whole life, even if you've never played a hand of cards? Hi, I'm Ellen Lakend, author of Poker Woman and host of the new show, Poker Divas. On the show, I talk about how poker strategy helps you win in business, life, and love. Tune in live every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network. Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday at 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way, on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Captain America, the entire movie was about how he became Captain America.
Yeah.
And also World War II is kind of cool.
Except for the Jews. They don't think World War II is pretty cool.
Okay, you're right.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, and now streaming live on Twitch and Periscope and YouNow and YouTube. We're on Spotify now.
We is famous.
Yeah, well, famous would mean that we have some sort of extravagant lifestyle. We lose money every time we come into the studio.
That's so depressing. Everything you say is depressing.
So we were talking ComicsGate. We were talking Joe Quesada, the Marvel editor-in-chief. Just a really quick recap for anybody who doesn't know what ComicsGate is. Go check out our last podcast. Go to secretsofthesire.com. You can stream it. Basically, the movement against social justice warriors, as they've put it, a movement for.
That's such a broad term.
I'm just gonna give the broad strokes because we don't have time to recap. Otherwise, you're gonna complain we don't have time, and then we run out of time. And then
I'm not complaining no matter what, but
Yeah, but I don't want to hear complaints about that.
Yeah, but you're still wasting time.
Like it's humid out and it's hot out.
It's hot as heck.
I can deal with that.
Okay.
I don't want to hear complaints about we didn't have time.
I'll find something else to complain
broad stroke. like Gamergate was seen as an anti-feminist, anti-SJW, anti that kind of movement, progressive politics, injected into stuff. On the flip side, creators are like, these people are harassing us. They're literally just attacking us on Twitter and our social media accounts. We have to come off Twitter, which it happens to a lot of different celebrities as well too. So that's your background. That's your staging ground for what ComicsGate is. One side also, the other big thing is they feel that there's a lot of people not worthy to be doing these comics somehow getting in.
Yeah, the meritocracy.
Right, the meritocracy, which is actually an ultimate conservative ideal. The meritocracy thing is an Ethan Van Sciver thing, by the way. And I'll tell you why it's an Ethan Van Sciver thing. He is a staunch conservative.
Right.
He's a staunch capitalist. I don't blame him for that because I have no problem with that.
There's nothing wrong with being a conservative.
I have nothing wrong with that either, but that's where I think that idea kind of came into it as well, too. I don't exactly buy it. In terms of this discussion.
I think if you do things and say things in an inflammatory way that designed to make people upset, which is a lot of what they do, and then when you get a backlash, you blame it on your conservatism. You blame it on the fact that you're being discriminated against because you're a conservative. That's where it starts to get sketchy.
Yeah,
because nobody should have known what his politics are. I mean, he could be overt about his politics, but your politics aren't necessary. People know what your politics are because you've told them. You've made that a factor, right? Now, you shouldn't have to hide anything if you don't want to hide. If you want to be upfront about it, you shouldn't have to hide. But obviously, if someone knows something about you that you told them, you wanted that out there. You wanted that in the mix.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Look, at the same time, I know the kind of world we live in right now. I don't think you should be afraid to get behind your philosophies.
Neither do I. But
unfortunately, that is what the case is now. I mean, look at Norm Macdonald right now. He's getting crushed.
I don't even know
because he said he's glad Me Too has died down a little bit, and then that was the end of that. That was the end of that.
That's a stupid thing to say.
Why is it a stupid thing to say though?
Because you have to. It's
not a savvy thing to say.
It's a stupid. If in your position,
it's a stupid opinion to share publicly.
Are you gonna let me answer?
That's what I'm guessing. What
I'm trying to explain it. You keep trying to re-explain what I'm explaining. Now I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to explain it now.
Okay.
Let's just end the show. Let's just go home. I didn't eat, so let's go get some meat.
I had calamari when you were.
Was it good?
It was really good.
Did you say hi to Hugo for me?
This is the one aspect of ComicsGate before we get into Iron Fist. It's Iron Fist Season 2. We actually have Robert Lydecker, the composer from Iron Fist, coming out.
You told me. You said it.
In Segment 3, which I'm really excited about.
Talking about Segment 3 and Segment 2. That's a waste of time. That's killing time. And I'm complaining.
The one aspect that we didn't talk about with ComicsGate 2 is that folks like Van Sciver, folks like Meyer, folks like John Mallon, who is friends with a good friend of mine, Mark Polton, they have a book out right now that they're crowdfunding, and it's going bonkers. They're not allowed to be in the middle. Like Alternate Comics, the funny thing about Alternate Comics, again, tune in last week.
It's trying to play both sides.
No. Alternate Comics wasn't trying to play both. Well, they were in a sense, but that's not what I was going to bring up. Alternate Comics is a nostalgic comic book company. They're printed on newsprint. Yeah. It's kind of like they're not like even my local retailer was like, it just didn't catch on. Or, like they're around. Look, they've been around for 10 years. They're a publisher that's doing good things with what they've tried to do, but they tried to market to the nostalgia. All the people that are sitting there going like, we just want 90s comics. Well, no, go buy Alterna Books then. Why are Alterna Books not making $500,000 on Indiegogo?
That's why nobody goes to see new movies when they're not a non-superhero movie. Nobody goes to see them. But everybody says we want something original. We don't want a reboot. We want something completely original.
Right, and that's the thing. So it's
You're liars.
It's like at the end of the day, no, you don't want.
But see, the thing is, the ComicsGate is a sensationalism, and people are attracted to the malls are attracted to flame, right? So the sensationalism is what tells people whether they want to or they should or shouldn't be involved in something.
Yeah.
People don't have the gumption to go and find things on their own to be interested in.
Right.
They need to be told. That's why a movie that's why Marvel's doing so well, because people go to see the Marvel brand and they're like, oh, Marvel's a brand, it's going to be a big superhero movie, I should be involved in that, I should know about that, I should be able to talk about that and talk about all kinds of trivia with that with my friends. I have to go see this movie.
Right.
As opposed to like I don't know, Valerian. I don't even know an independent movie, like, and they're like, well, why would I go see that? I don't know anybody who knows that. I don't know anything about that. Nobody I know wants to see that. To the heck with that. Even if you're slightly interested, you're like, I'll wait till it comes on Netflix.
Right.
I'll wait till some. So that's basically what it is. And ComicsGate is easy because ComicsGate is instant sensationalism.
I know, but that's the thing, and they're not allowed to not be. Because then they lose the followers. That's the ultimate.
But they flirted with that. That's the lay down with dogs thing. You flirted with this, and now you're stuck to it.
Right.
So
no, I know. That's what it comes down to. I think it's a really it's a catch-22. I also hope, though, at the end of the day, that Joe Quesada kind of came in like your mom, like your teacher.
No, he didn't. It's going to escalate itself. It has to, because these guys are making $500,000 per their crowdfunding.
Hey, we got 20,000 views last week. ComicsGate. We'll be the ComicsGate headquarters for the next 6 weeks. We will talk about nothing but ComicsGate.
I never freaking learn. I don't know why I even bother to try to have a real conversation with you about any of this stuff.
On to some actual productive stuff. Iron Fist Season 2.
Not interested.
The reviews coming in. You're not interested in
Not interested. I didn't even see Season 1.
I actually watched the recap of Season 1. I heard so many bad things about it, so I just didn't even. I have so many other things on my DVR, but Season 2 I did watch because our guest tonight is the composer.
I didn't even know Season 2 was out.
Yeah, it's out on Friday, didn't it? Don't you? No, nothing.
I got other stuff to do, dude. I got a life.
This is
doing
your life.
things.
All right.
Yeah.
Iron Fist Season 2 is kind of incredible. The whole thing. This is from GQ.
Is it really good? Did you really like it?
Actually, I didn't mind it. Is an apology for Iron Fist Season 1. This is coming from GQ. The entire run feels like a checklist addressing criticisms in order of severity.
Well, you're reading GQ, so.
And saying, maybe you were onto something. In the new season, Danny Rand is working overtime following the presumed death of, spoilers, of someone.
So don't say it.
Of someone at the end of Defenders.
Daredevil.
Trying to pick up the late hero's vigilante slack. Could be anybody. Could be Luke Cage.
Could be Daredevil.
He's pushing himself too far and pushing others too far away, ignoring the advice of Colleen Wing, with whom he now shares a home and a relationship. He's therefore wholly unprepared for the arrival of Davos, a native of the mystical city of Kunlun, who traveled alongside Danny and believes himself to be the rightful owner of the Iron Fist.
Davos is from Game of Thrones. That guy from Game of Thrones showed up?
There's a crossover.
That's
crossover.
wow.
No,
okay, I'm going to see that.
It's Ed Brubaker's Immortal Iron Fist run is what they're really.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they're really referencing here.
Does Luke Cage show up?
He's in the season. Yeah, he's in the season. So is the real winner of all these Marvel Netflix shows, Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like
I don't know who her agent is. I don't know what her agent has on Marvel, but
or she's just like she's Rosario Dawson, and that's awesome, and we're just like, let's have her in as many things as humanly possible, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why they decided to focus on her as a linchpin for all these shows.
Yeah,
it's great, but it's a weird choice because she's just a nurse. It's not like she's essential to each of these storylines, but they do a lot of work to make sure that she just passes through.
Yeah.
The thing about it, personally, without really criticizing it, I really wish it was more of a crossover of heroes in these stories as opposed to a nurse from story to story to story. I would rather it be more heroes that actually cross over. That would be more interesting.
Right.
But, you know.
No, and that's really.
What do I know?
Yeah, no, I know. That's the thing, though. It's always. Well, they do actually have someone who's like a mutant in this one too, and it's played by Alice Eves. That's pretty cool too. I mean, they apparently.
Yeah, but they have a
with
lot
the
of
whole
mutants.
season. Like I said, I've got through a couple
Jessica
episodes.
Jones had a whole
2.
bunch of mutants in it. You know.
I know, but I'm just saying I got through a couple episodes of season 2, and.
You didn't see the whole season yet.
It came out Friday.
I mean, what are you doing? You had the whole weekend.
How much? Well, so
you
did
had
you.
The whole weekend.
So did you.
I didn't know it came out. I would have seen it.
Gotcha. Oh, you did get me.
Yeah.
Here are 3 things we liked. Okay.
We? I didn't see it. How can you say we?
We as a show.
Oh, I got you.
We as a show.
Ah, yes, the collective we.
Colleen Wing. I think her character grows
I don't like her.
a lot in this.
I don't like her at all.
Her fighting alongside Misty Knight is excellent.
Is Misty Knight in
yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good for her.
She's another one that's
but she's
really,
important. She's
really working.
Colleen Wing and Misty Knight are important in the Hell's Kitchen kind of universe. So.
The show is also exploring the Iron Fist mythos, right? So that's actually pretty cool too. I mean, underneath the backlash of having the white savior as the overarching story, which kills me because look, that's who
I know.
He is.
Iron Fist is white.
He's white. That's what he is. Like
I know, but I mean, the criticism kind of stands for the comic book. It's like, well, why is this guy white? I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm not saying it's a legitimate complaint.
No, I know you're not. My
not.
side, that sigh was not toward what you said.
Yeah.
But the context of what you said. Not the fact that you said it.
No, I know.
But it's like, all right, I mean, really, like.
But I mean, it could happen. You could get a white guy who is the Kunlun, so.
Well, look, he's a rich white guy. That's very believable. Right? I mean,
that doesn't actually help them, though. I know. Oh my God! Come on, guys!
Oh, I know.
Gotta get a poor guy.
The other thing that the
it's
number
some guy
3,
from Skid Row.
Number 3, the fight scenes are actually legitimately good.
Really? Well, yeah, they had to step those up because I heard nothing.
This
but
is what
bad
I
things.
read though too. Finn Jones said he only trained for 3 weeks for season 1.
For the first one. Oof.
And it showed. So a lot of good in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make it a good show?
The fighting was pretty good in Defenders. It had stepped up
better.
a little bit,
And the
fighting in Luke Cage when Iron Fist showed up.
Yeah,
that was only the really good episode. That wasn't the only good episode, but that was the only superhero episode out of that whole season out of Luke Cage, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
So we just named 3 really good things about season 2. Does it make it a good season? We'll give you the one big fail when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Forever Night TV series as well, too. I've never even heard of it. I have no idea what that is.
You don't know Forever
No, I don't know Forever Night.
Good Lord.
I don't know. I used to watch other things, when I was a kid.
Well, I'm sure that information is useful. You're
have you
a
ever
Smurf
seen the
guy.
movie Blown Away?
Nicole Eggert and the other girl from something. She ended up on 90210.
There was another girl in that?
You're just making this weird now, man.
Yeah.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. We're talking Iron Fist Season 2. I saw Mark Polton joined our Facebook feed, which is great. Mark has actually been a past guest. Go check out Gravediggers. It's on Indiegogo. He's a good dude, doing some good things. He loves wrestling, loves his son, and his wife, too. His wife's there, too. His son and him actually wrote a children's book together, too. So go check out Gravediggers on Indiegogo. Just giving a shout out to friends. That's the part that's so crazy about the ComicsGate thing, too, and it's just our message board society in general, it's so pushed both sides. You can't like. There's no like. Well, that dude's all right. Well, that girl's okay. No. It's like you have to like. It's like the American Revolution. What was that movie, The Patriot?
It's treated like basically a disease.
Yeah.
If you even flirt with it a little bit, you are quarantined.
That might be your best analogy ever.
It's better than the baby killing. Yes,
ever. All right, we were talking Iron Fist season 2. I'm really excited. We're going to welcome our guest on in 1 second. Who is the composer from Iron Fist? So I'm really, really excited to talk to him. He's actually done a lot of other cool things as well too. We're going to talk about all that stuff.
What's good is talking about it.
The one thing though, before we bring him on though, is the one fail of Iron Fist though. I think continues to be Iron Fist, like Finn Jones. I don't know.
What would you want him to be?
I don't know. You know, in the comics, Danny Rand has a little more personality.
In the comic book.
Yeah.
That's
in the show, he just seems to be.
You're saying he's flatter in the show, in a 3-dimensional show, than he is on the pages of a comic book. Wow.
No,
that's a harsh critique.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he looks the part. I just don't know if he's ready to deliver. I just don't know if Finn Jones is necessarily.
See, I'm not going to be able to do what you do. I'm going to have to now watch all of season 1 before I can even get into season 2.
Yeah.
And everybody said
season 1 was.
Everybody's ripped it so badly that the positive thing is my expectations are probably going to be so low that I'm going to be like, this is fine.
So here's the good news. Everyone is talking mostly positive about season 2, and I think it's because of our guest who did the score for the show, Mr. Robert Lydecker. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Very, very good. So this is a real treat because one of the things that we love doing is talking to people who are in the industry, but they have jobs. Like we've had stunt people on. We've had people who work around the industry. Last week we had an author who writes about the stuff that we love reading, and it's like, all these really cool jobs that people can have within this like TV, film, and pop culture world, and you have it. You have one of the best jobs. I mean, there's no question about it. So you are
currently, or I did for half a year when I was working on the show.
There you go. See, there you go. But you've had. I mean, You have an incredible lineup. You did work for Designated Survivor. You did work for what was it? The XXX movie that came out. I mean, you've done a lot of really cool things. So how did you get there? How did you get here?
How did I get here?
Well, you didn't have to leave anywhere.
I guess there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's the past 30 years. How did I make my way here? I guess as a kid, kind of interested in a lot of things creatively. Like I looked drawing, and through that I was like really into the art behind like Star Wars and things like that. But I also did acting when I was younger, and my mom's father was a stuntman in Hollywood.
Wow.
So like I kind of was exposed to a lot growing up, and then I didn't really know I had an interest in music until like my family happened to get a computer, and that had a program where you could click notes on a staff, and I just started randomly clicking notes on this staff, and then you could hit play and it would make sound, and I slowly just like fell in love with that and just slowly figured out over time like how to write music, and I loved film scores and just kind of everything that I did as a kid, like creatively, the different avenues. I feel like it all kind of funneled together and led me to like film scoring.
What was your big?
And then I was fortunate. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was your big break? Like, what got you into the film score business? Like, what was the first thing?
I guess I was fortunate to study music at USC in Southern California, and they have really good connections. And so from there, I went to work for like a few different composers, and just the composer who I got my big break with was Brian Tyler, who I did the XXX movie with, and also Sleepy Hollow. And I just kind of worked my way up with him, and he was very generous with the opportunities, and and actually Sleepy Hollow, the writer for that was Raven Metzner, who show ran the second season. So
there you go.
Everything connected and led to this moment.
It's pretty well. Now you've reached the pinnacle. You're on our show.
Yes, of course.
not even talking about the Emmy nomination you got. This is the pinnacle.
Yeah, this is it.
Talk to us about the Emmy
No,
nomination.
actually, it's very exciting. I'm normally just isolated behind a computer writing music, so yeah, it's cool to
come
share.
write our music.
Come in contact with the rest of the world.
Talk to us about the Emmy nomination. What was it for, and what was the feeling to hear, to read your name or hear your name or whatever the case, when you got that?
That was in my mid-20s. That was the theme song for Sleepy Hollow, and I was happy with the music I wrote, so it was nice that it was recognized. I don't know, it was just totally out of the blue and a huge honor, and I don't know, I just felt it's just nice to be recognized by your peers. But honestly, like, it's way cooler, like, to have a soundtrack out, like, for Iron Fist, and I don't know, just like personal connections with people mean a lot more than the awards. Not to say like I'm not like super.
That you're not happy about.
It wasn't super exciting.
Take me through scoring a TV show. Take me through the emotion that that goes in. I mean, how do you approach each episode? I mean, is there a lot of talk? You mentioned Raven Metzner as the showrunner. I mean, is there a lot of talk going in before you actually view what's on screen? Are you part of the shooting? I mean, like, how do you approach it? I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, it depends on the project. I guess maybe I should just talk about Iron Fist. So I first just got a call from Raven, and he just like told me so it started out like intellectually, conceptually. Like, he told me his ideas for the season, like general idea of like story arc, and he had a few concepts that he was kind of like thinking of in the back of his mind, like yin and yang, and like just like things that he was using to generate his ideas. And then from there, I just started thinking about how do I translate these ideas into music. So like, for example, we knew Kunlun was going to be in the story, and we knew we wanted to draw from like things that were very ancient. So I was thinking, okay, what's the most ancient instrument? And I thought the human voice. And I felt like it also had something spiritual and like mystical to it, which I associate with Kunlun, and wanted to bring to the story. So so like first it's concepts like that, and then I guess the next step is you see a rough cut or a final cut of the episode, and that has temp music in it, meaning like the editors have put music in from other shows or like from the first season. We watch the music that's in there currently. We like where it's placed, what we want to change or do differently. And some people are very specific about kind of like what they want musically. Other people, like Raven, there was a little bit more freedom, and he really encouraged me to like, take what the editor had done with the temp music as a starting place, but, try to take it somewhere new and see what else I could add. And then so I have the picture, I know what I need to write music for. I just, watch the scene, and I guess I try to, it's almost like I have to like play each character or something like that. Like
through the music, though.
Get into like the mind of like
sense.
Danny. And
it makes
feeling
total
in the moment.
sense.
Or like an action scene, like I have to feel like, okay, is this music making me feel like I'm on the edge? Like, and then I just try to channel that into sound, and sometimes it's just sound, sometimes you know what you have to do, and sometimes those concepts that I talked about that we like come up with at the start, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Then after I'm done, I do all the music on my computer with like things I record myself or record ahead of time, and like synths and like fake instruments, things like that. And then but I get like pretty close to the final version, and then I'll play that for the producers, and they let me know if they want to change anything or try anything different. And then after that, I'm done and on to the next episode.
You mentioned that you kind of get some influence from the previous season because you came on season 2. How much does the original first influence you? I mean, is it something? Have you ever? I mean, do you like to hear that stuff?
Yeah, so I was fortunate that. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, do you like hearing, previous, or do you want to come in completely fresh?
sorry. Say the question one more time.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, do you like kind of like hearing what's come before for consistency, or would you rather just come and start fresh?
It's tough. I've actually done another show where I came in the second season, and I like tried to honor what came before.
Yeah.
When I talked to Raven first, I hadn't seen the first season, and the first thing I did instead of like watching the show was to try to like look into the comics a bit, and just like think about his ideas, because he came to me like looking for a fresh take on the show.
Yeah.
And then, going in, I was a little apprehensive because I was like, I want to, do something that is what I would like to do, but like, I don't want to. You suddenly do something different, and it like sets everything off, like off kilter, or like upsets fans or whatever. But I talked to Marvel, and they were also like, "There's no sacred cows." I think that's like what they said.
Yeah.
They were like, "Yeah, you could do whatever as long as it fits the story and it tells the story we want to tell." So that was very liberating, and of course, there's some, like I said, there's temp music, so some of the music might. The first season was like very electronic, and it had a different sound to it than what I did. So some of the temp music had that flavor. So, like, you're going to be influenced by what came before, like unavoidably. But that's not a bad thing, and hopefully it's okay. The liberties I took going in a different direction.
With the show being out, we can do a little spoilers. Sure. We did a lot of spoilers last segment, but. Give me your favorite scene in season 2 that you scored.
Oh, to score?
Yeah. What was like? I mean, was there an action sequence in season 2 that you were like, you just walked away, just feeling the emotion, and you were like really happy with the end product that you came out with?
Well, I actually finished yet, so like what I tell you might totally change.
That's okay.
I mean, my favorite stuff to write is like actually the more emotional music and like the more intimate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, the last episode, like there was some moments between. Well, maybe not. I liked doing the scene where Colleen is getting the dragon transferred to her.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler.
Just because I don't know, I just feel like I was able to write some nice music, and I also liked some of the scenes in Kunlun. I guess some of my favorites were where there was a singer who I worked with, named Taechung, who's like his family's from Tibet.
Yeah.
And he tries to like keep alive like music from that tradition. And obviously we weren't doing traditional music, but basically he was like the one like soloist who I had. He brought something else to the music, like that I thought was special. So that was just exciting for me to like work with him. And I don't know if I answered your question very well, but
no, that was actually pretty good. That was actually way better than I thought. I was like, I like when they punch people. that was a really cool scene.
Yeah, that's awesome. The action scenes, I've done a lot of those so far in my little bit of time working in this industry, and like I said, like I have to like get into the scene, so feeling like intense and like adrenaline filled for like a full day writing an action cue can be kind of exhausting.
That's pretty amazing. That's amazing.
Why I like the emotional stuff better.
All right, well, Robert, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell everyone where they can find you online?
Yeah. Oh shit! Actually, I don't know if I know offhand.
I'll tell them. It's Instagram.com.
I have an Instagram
Robert.
and a Facebook. Oh, go. Yeah, you say it.
Robert Lydecker Music. You pretty much Robert Lydecker Music across the board, and LydeckerMusic.com.
Yeah.
Robert, thank you so much for joining us. Keep us posted on the next industry-related stuff you're doing, because we'd love to have you back on to talk about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Right before you had me on, you were like, and the biggest fail of Iron Fist Season 2. And I was like, oh, I guess it's going to be.
That's
but,
true.
But you said
I
some
set
very
that
nice
up
things,
poorly,
so thank
actually.
You. And it was a pleasure.
Thanks a lot. All right, when we come back, we go spinning the racks.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
The best designs for your life start At Home. I'm David Thiergartner, interior designer and host of At Home. Listen live Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as we talk to the very best professionals about interior design and the design that's all around us, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
We're going to draft teams.
Wow.
Based on the likelihood of death.
I don't want to dispute you,
yeah.
Because, we got this thing going. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, I'm going to be putting a lot of work into this.
Yeah.
You just have to show up.
Oh, okay. No, you know what? It's a great idea.
You had
I like
me at
this.
that.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. That's the kind of in-depth, behind-the-scenes stuff that you get here that you get nowhere else. You get to actually talk to the composer of Iron Fist Season 2. He also worked, I'm not sure if it was the video game or the movie, but Avengers Age of Ultron. So, Pat Chan, wherever you are right now, that's your guy right there. But yeah, go check out Robert Lydecker music. Just awesome stuff. Like really, it's amazing the level of thought and preparation that goes into something. And if you're successful, no one takes notice.
Even knows about it, yeah.
Like no one takes notice.
Yeah.
That's the success
to
of
the point where he says it. Like he's like, I'm behind my computer all day.
Yeah.
Nobody talks to me.
Yeah.
So, but still, that's got to be.
Yeah.
That's got to be amazing.
Yeah.
That's got to be an amazing job.
I agree 100%. All right, we've covered a lot today. We've covered ComicsGate versus Joe Quesada. We've covered Iron Fist Season 2, the three things we liked.
Let's cover this last debacle.
The one thing we don't. And we had a great guest on. But there's still more news. We go spinning the racks.
Spin the rack. Spin that rack.
Henry Cavill out as Superman.
So we don't have Captain Kirk for Star Trek. And now we don't have Superman for Superman.
Yeah.
These guys are all dropping out of these franchises left and right. You know that Chris Pine dropped out of Star Trek.
What we have, yeah.
Drax is pretty much dropping out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Or all signs lead to that. They're talking about should they recast him?
Oh, you can't recast him. You can't.
But I'm just saying it just seems like these things are happening.
Well,
of course it's to be determined.
Here's the thing.
But you know what? Quite honestly, so is, not to ruin the segment before it starts, so is the Henry Cavill thing.
Yeah.
Because, you hear he's leaving, and then, a week later they've thrown another boatload of money at him, and he's like, I didn't really want to leave. I was in the bathroom.
It's not confirmed, okay? It's not confirmed. It's not 100%, but here's where it came. The Hollywood Reporter is reporting talks broke down for a cameo in Shazam due to scheduling conflicts, and the door is now closing on other potential appearances for the actor. The DC Cinematic Universe appears to be losing its Man of Steel. Henry Cavill is parting ways with Warner Brothers, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter, though neither side is confirming the British actor who first donned the blue suit for 2013's Man of Steel, and then Batman v Superman, and then Justice League is said to be hanging up the red cape. Warner's been trying to enlist Cavill, who recently co-starred in Mission Impossible Fallout, for a Superman cameo. The talks broke down. The door is now closing. It's because the studio has shifted its focus to a Supergirl movie, which will be an origin story. This effectively removes an actor of Cavill's age from the storyline's equation.
Nonsense.
Given that Superman, a.k.a. Kal-El, would be an infant.
Why couldn't he be in it later? Why couldn't he be there when when she shows up on Earth and he's grown? Nonsense.
Here's the part where you kind of feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. While no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect for and great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged, read a statement from Warner Brothers. That's basically saying...
Warner Brothers is just
it was nice
what they're probably trying to do,
you.
they're just trying to scrub the whole Zack Snyder universe and start over. And it's going to be a disaster for them. Because there are people already invested in these. They're not as big as the Marvel.
I know.
As the Marvel franchise, but there are millions of people invested in these characters already in these movies.
I know.
And to try to wipe the slate clean and pretend that they didn't happen and start all over again.
I know.
And who are you gonna find who's better than Cavill as Superman? Who are you gonna find that looks like a better Superman than Henry Cavill right now?
That's
insane.
You're not going to. And I agree with you where it does feel like they're just trying to erase it, and it's like no. You got some pieces in place. Ben Affleck was great. Keep him in there. Of
course he was.
But he doesn't want to be in there anymore.
No.
The only piece they're going to keep there is Gal Gadot. That's it. It's the only piece. Everything else is wiped clean. She was the only successful one.
See, that's the thing. If they wipe the whole Snyder universe out, they have to wipe out Wonder Woman.
Right. Just give him a better looking suit. He can be blue. It's okay.
What?
Give him a good movie. No, I'm saying give Henry Cavill a good movie.
No,
we don't. He will be remembered more for Mustache Gate than Man of Steel, right? Intern's shaking his head.
Give him a good movie. I don't know. I mean, look.
Our intern has fantastic hair, by the way. Have you seen his hair? I wish I had hair like that. It's fantastic. You too. You probably wish you had hair like that too. But you don't wish you had Henry Cavill's mustache.
I don't even know.
That thing was a beast.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
We're talking about the Mustache Gate.
No, we're not.
Henry Cavill.
We're talking about people's hair.
Well, that too. I mean, look, I'd like to throw a couple.
I don't want to be on this show anymore. Anybody else? Anybody
no,
else?
You almost weren't. You were so late today.
I wasn't late. I showed up on time.
Where do you see Warner Brothers going from here?
Nowhere. Warner Brothers is a waste. It's a waste. I'm sorry, it's a waste. They don't know how. They're not making good movies. They don't make. They're making every bad decision. They're learning all the wrong lessons from the Marvel thing, because they're not. And they're not even utilizing their own experience.
Yeah.
So you're trying to copy the format of another company, and you don't know how to do it.
Right.
And then you don't even double down with your own knowledge,
but I'm saying
your own wisdom.
But their philosophy right now has been to ditch that. So in that respect, they actually are following it. Right. They're going to reboot it, and they're not going to care about continuity. They're not going to care about anything that's come before.
Well, then, and they deserve what happens to them. I mean, if you're going to reboot, look, all you have to do is make a good movie.
Yeah.
You got Aquaman coming out. How are you going to get rid of Superman now? I mean, what have you've just hamstrung Aquaman, because this is the Aquaman. We're all going to carry this with us into the Aquaman season, and so they've already killed that. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
if they're trying to do this thing, it's like it's springtime for Hitler in Germany. They're just trying to make failures so that they could scrub it and start all over again. But no one's going to be there for them when they scrub all over again.
No, I don't disagree with you. All right, we've had a tremendous show. We've talked Joe Quesada versus ComicsGate. We've reviewed Iron Fist Season 2 and gave the biggest fail, which was not our guest, Mr. Robert Lydecker, the Emmy Award-winning, Emmy Award-nominated composer from the show as well, too. And we talked Henry Cavill. Next week, we got a cool guest as well, too. Look, we're just knocking it dead. Our guest list, by the way, in the next, 6 to 8 weeks, unbelievable. We welcome Marissa Cotter, creator of CQuart's She Makes Comics, the untold story of women in comics, which is now streaming on Netflix.
ComicsGate. Uh-oh.
I know, right? Well, look, we are milking this thing as
Let's
much
get
as
Ethan
humanly
Van
possible.
Sciver on at the same time.
I want 40,000 hits next week. 40,000. 40,000. All right. We are Secrets of the Sire. Check us out on secretsofthesire.com. Up next, the Governor's House.